All right, welcome to another video from the chart readers. This is being made during live trading hours, so you will see candles moving up and down. You'll see percentages moving up and down. I have a little busy afternoon, so trying to squeeze in a daily video today. We are going to look at energy and oil. I am sad to say there were a lot of monster setups today that just failed to happen. Really disappointing. I'll go through all of those, but yeah, I was hoping to wake up to double-digit gains on a few of these oil specifically, but nonetheless, that definitely didn't happen, and a lot of it you can see it on this SCO chart. So before getting into the details, what are we going to do? We're going to do the same thing we always do, right? We're going to look at the daily and the weekly to see if there's any good, setups and swings going. We have our 5 moving averages, these horizontal support and resistance lines that I do manually draw, and then we use the MACD and the RSI as our lower indicators. I'm actually going to hide that. That'll just give us a little extra room to look because that's not what I use to draw stuff. So remember, SCO is our short on crude oil. If this does well, our oil stocks will do bad. And you can see this thing, once it lost the 8 right here, it never really recovered, definitely failing the 20 all the way across, going up and down with the 8, right? You can start to see what looks like a curve up, and I'm starting to see an RSI and MACD that's saying this might start to move up as well. I'm getting a little worried that this will start to do well, which is bad for a lot of our oil stocks. And again, I'm telling you today, and we'll get to a few of them, today looked like a monster day for oil and it didn't happen. There's been 1, 2, 3, 4 tests over the last 6 days, and this one was a really close one, right? So if this thing can break the 20, which it hasn't done since October, right, a month and a half, there's a real good chance it makes a good run up. Now again, a little bit of a cluster right here, it's a little hard to get over 2 lines, right? But this is a low RSI, and in all honesty, if it makes a good enough run between 50 and 80, it might make its way back to the 200, if not over it, right? So watch this, and I'm zooming out for. So look, in all honesty, we have not made a test on this 200 since, what is this? Since 2020, right? It looked like there was a little bit of a test right here, but in all honesty, it never even really got close, right? So if this thing makes a run to the 200, that's going to be really significant, right? It's been 2 years, almost 2.5 years since that's happened, right? So keep that in mind there. Again, look, it's not a great weekly, but we see this curvature forming. We see the RSI kind of peaking up. We see the MACD already up. Obviously, it's good once it gets over the 8, but really, if it's going to get over the 8, it's going to get over the 20 as well, right? And just zooming out, you can see getting over the 20 is no joke, and we've actually been trailing a little horizontal, right? And I always say it, once you go horizontal, you either break up or break down, right? So a little interesting here. Unfortunately, this seems bullish, which is going to be bad for the next stocks we start to look at. So OXY, Oxy. This one was not one of the monster setups I was talking about, but look, Oxy's been doing really well, right? It's basically been trading up with the 8. What's starting to happen is a little bit of horizontal trading with the 8, and it's starting to look like we might lose it, right? I'm starting to see a little bit of a drop down. Hey, the 20's been doing a good job of bouncing us up, right? Bouncing us over the 8 again, which has been nice. But today we're definitely under the 8. Hopefully we don't lose this 20. And look, we already lost the 20 right here. Luckily the 50 did it, right? But this is starting to look a little ugly right here. Starting to look a little ugly right here, right? Again, red over green, red over green. Pretty much looks like red over green down here. Either way, I can just kind of see the green wanting to go down, right? That's really what I'm looking at. So not looking good here. And really, I'm starting to worry that this is going to go down, right? And on yesterday's 2 videos, I talked about golden crosses, which is when a lower one, you can see the 20 breaks over the 100, breaks over the 50. When a low number breaks a big number, it's good. I don't want this thing to start drooping down. I know it looks like the 8 is breaking the 20, but it's actually not breaking it. It's losing it, right? And that's called I think it's a death cross if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, we want the 8 to be above the 20, right? It will be bad if we cross down. So again, just be careful here, but this is definitely starting to go more horizontal than ideal, and SCO is starting to shape up looking good. So this is not a good weekly chart, right? Again, I always say you first of all have to do at least as good as last week, and clearly we're well below, right? Last week closed here. We are at here at this point, right? That was not good English, but yeah, we're down here, right? 50% candle on this guy is 72.20 roughly, right? So losing 72.20 would also be really bad because now you're starting to do worse than the last 2 weeks, right? So not looking good on the weekly, not looking good the fact that the RSI wants to go down. And again, SCO is a little bullish, so I'll be a little worried. Oops, I went to the hourly, sorry about that. And look, okay, just real quick, this is not a good hourly, right? I mean, we don't talk about hourly because this isn't about day trading, but we have now lost 4 moving averages on the hourly. And in all honesty, this could come down here, right? Because just like it happens in the daily, in the weekly, you go horizontal until you either go up or here it's kind of starting to look like it's going down. Maybe a little recovery is happening as we're talking live, but again, there's a 4 cluster right here, right? It's going to be really hard to get over that. And generally, how it works is it comes down to the next one, right? So that's a little intraday trading. But again, same rules apply if you're looking at the hourly, the 15-minute, the weekly, right? It's just, that is what I love about this. Indo. Okay, this was definitely one of the monster setups that didn't happen, right? And I hope you can see why, right? So, lot of horizontal, extremely tight 4 horizontal cluster, right? We definitely break and break. However, we need another confirmation, right? It never happened. We actually come down here. But yesterday, again, though, we didn't get the confirmation today. That's why I'm sad. But yesterday made it seem like we were going to break them all and did better than that day and broke my 701, right? Literally, if this thing opened at 702, I was ready to jump, okay? Because, I mean, just, again, it's a tight cluster that either goes up or down. Would it have been sustained? Hey, I really don't care. I would have ridden 7 to 8 real quick. Sorry, let me zoom out a little bit. And that's what? Almost 20%, right? 20 is a buck 40, right? 840. So whatever. Either way, easy 15, right? That's a nice gap fill, right? So definitely didn't happen. Super, super sad. So at this point, again, it hopefully will stay in the cluster. But the way SCO looked, it definitely is a little worrisome, right? If it comes down here, 630 might happen again, right? But definitely just very, very tight horizontal trading, which is, again, so sad based on super break of my line, just no confirmation. And again, this is why I stress it. Confirmation will save you money. All right, so let's look at the weekly real quick. Again, nothing too crazy to talk about down here. It looked like it wanted a peak. It definitely didn't as of today either, right? So nothing crazy to talk about down there. Look at this weekly, right? Look at it. It looked like it was about to take off, right? It looked like it was going to break this cluster, make its way to the 8. And you can see it. The 100 is right at this $8 range. But man, just such a sad day. Indo, I'll be honest, I'm really sad. I legit was looking at this with a ready to go move, but never came through, and this is why we talk about confirmation. You know, CEI was doing well in the morning, if I'm not mistaken. How is it doing? Oh, you're lying. Damn, that's so sad. Oh, I swear I did not know this thing had dropped between when I started this and now. It looked like it was a +4, +5 day, which again was really odd to me because Indo didn't do well. And when I get to IMPP next, you'll see IMPP didn't do what I thought it was going to do. Little surprised that CEI did it, but damn, what a hammer down. Super, super sad. I'm glad we're still doing better than yesterday. That is still a good thing, right? I always say that, but I'm starting to get a little worried here, I'll be honest. I don't have a volume indicator on this, so I would watch the volume, see what volume. Let's just do this together live. Nope, I can't do it. I'm not showing volume. Okay, but see what the volume was here on yesterday and see what it was today. Hopefully we didn't lose 50% volume because that's horrible. But yeah, this literally was a plus 5% day when I turned on my phone and look at my app, right? So real sad. Obviously, we're still under the 20, but look, 1, 2, 3, 4 tests out of the last 8, not too bad. Definitely trading a little more horizontal with the 8, right? And when we did it right here, it was still a little bit of a flat 8. There's a lot more of a curve here, and it kind of looks like it wants to golden cross. Maybe the 8's gonna cross up on the 20, right? Again, nothing matters until it happens, right? But hopefully this breaks the 20. Hopefully we do get a cross up, and it's nice that we're riding it and this is starting to curve up. But again, we've seen so many bad rejections on the 20, right? So CEI is looking well. I'd be a little worried here. Again, hey, look, we got a nice little curvature going here, right? Maybe, and look, it really did make the move to the 8 already midweek, right? But again, a good weekly is over the 8, and that's where we want to start an entry, right? So I'm still real worried on CEI. If there's any good pops, this is why I always talk about bank your profits, right? So CEI, real sad. I swear I had no idea we were at 0. I thought this was going to be a 5% up outlier, actually. IMPP looked almost exactly like Indo, right? Look at this thing. A tight 3 cluster, looked like it was going to break, definitely didn't. And look, interday, it looked like it was going to make a hard run. Just kind of comes back into it. And then again, Indo looked a little better, like I said, because, right, let me just go back to Indo. This had a much tighter 4 cluster, and it just showed signs of wanting to break. But again, IMPP wasn't too far off, right? A lot of horizontal trading, moments of above it, never really below it. And then, you know, hopefully a good bounce on the 20 with this doji right here. But definitely under the 8 for now, 3 weeks in a row, right? Which is not a good thing. Real ugly MACD right there. RSI not looking good. This is just sad, right? And it seems like it's going down a little bit harder as I'm speaking right now. So yeah, be careful here, right? Definitely did not make the move we wanted. Again, this is a good weekly chart, right? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over the 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over the 20. That's a good weekly chart, right? And again, this has made a nice move, right? It's just we're now a little tighter on these horizontals, right? Again, better when there's distance and gaps between them. Much harder when they're a lot closer and tighter, right? So I think that spoke well to it. So that's IMPP. Again, Indo and IMPP, I personally am really sad about how those both played out today. This actually was another one. There is a person that I comment with now a couple times actually on YouTube, and I was watching this, and again, lot of reason to get faked out here, right? The one thing I'll say is a doji is not a good enough confirmation. And look, this day right here, the 14th, was not a great confirmation for, what was this, the 13th, the 11th, right? Because again, what's good confirmation? You have to close at least above the previous day candle, right? It actually didn't do it. It obviously did better than 50%, right? But this is not good confirmation. This could have been good confirmation, but again, look at the doji, right? Someone thought it was going to do the 420 break and run up. Someone thought it was actually going to do even worse than both days, right? Worse than 50% here, worse than 50% there. Ends in a doji. A doji is not good confirmation. This, unfortunately, is real bad confirmation, right? And I mean, at this point, we're pretty much, if we lose the 100 right here on the daily, we're going to lose this and probably come down to 371. Real sad here because, again, this looked like a good move, but it just speaks to why I always talk about the difficulties with literally all 5 clustering right here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colored lines, 5 moving averages represented by those colored lines, right? So good confirmation is something that, in all honesty, is a little bit of an art, right? And I try to repeat a few things to make sure they get chiseled in the head, right? Put that in the back pocket, whatever analogy you want to use. But good confirmation means something. And as much as it sounds like you're missing out on the profit, because, hey, this is a nice little ride right here, right? The good trading would have been here, and it just never happened. And this is what I mean when I say bad, just unsafe, not good trading up here, right? So UEC, real sad, real sad. And again, weekly looked like it wanted to do great things, but again, this is where it should have kept going. This is nothing more than a downtrend on a weekly, right? It's definitely been going down the last 4 weeks. So sad on UEC one more time. GEVO, one of my favorite stocks to just say the name of, GEVO. Oh man, interesting. Oh, I didn't even realize this was happening on GEVO, right? Monster break, doji, and unfortunately a good confirmation day the day after, right? This probably fooled a lot of people because in all honesty, I will sincerely say that this is good confirmation, right? You did better than the monster day. You followed up on the doji. Unfortunately, it just didn't do it, right? So this is one of those things where you hit my rules, but this is a limited view, right? I talk about it often. I use a bigger stack, right? I use something called the one. I have a significant more amount of lower indicators, and it just helps kind of now I'll be honest, would I have known this was going to drop on my stack? Honestly, I don't know. I don't look at that before I come look at GEVO, right? But 100% I will easily say this is a good confirmation in my book, and it fooled a lot of people, and it came with what wasn't supposed to happen, you know what I mean? So it's sad. That's all I can say. And look, obviously the NASDAQ didn't do well today, so that's a good reason why I kind of talk about looking at QQQ and the NASDAQ itself. But yeah, there are times when we will be limited with this view. But I promise you, if you are not using any indicator stacks, if you are not using moving averages, if you are not making these horizontal lines, this will change your game a lot, right? So just a little sad, I'll be honest, and there's nothing here that would have really screamed it wasn't going to keep running, right? Healthy RSI, and I mean, just yeah, sad it didn't happen. That's all it is, right? Tied to NASDAQ a lot, because look, GEVO's very much a penny stock, right? I mean, this thing's hit 5 a couple times. It's not, you know, sub 5 for a lot of people is a penny stock, right? But GEVO is very much unproven, so not too bad on the weekly. Ugly RSI though. I know that was a theme on a couple other stocks, I think on the EV sector video last week. But yeah, GEVO, just honestly, I think if the NASDAQ did better, this would have broken this cluster pretty hard. It didn't, and that's what it is. The one good thing is we're still over the 50, so hey, maybe if NASDAQ bounces, it'll do another attempt at a bounce, but watch the NASDAQ here with GEVO, right? LIACF, again, this one I did know, I'll be honest. I saw this horizontal move. I saw what looked like might be a breakout of it. Again, it was a doji. The following day was not good, and clearly today is not good either, right? I don't like that we're under the 8, especially for, again, a penny stock, right? That said, hey, we're at least within the channel, right? So hopefully we don't go any lower than the 20. Hopefully it gives us a little bit of a reason to bounce back up to the 50, right? Not a horrible RSI. It might be kind of trying to curve up, but again, really, this is going to follow the NASDAQ. If NASDAQ does well, this is going to recover, because when I show it on the weekly, this thing was at $5 and dropped to pretty much $1, right? That's a nasty loss, right? I think that's 80% if I'm doing the math right? 4 out of 5. Nonetheless, right, if the NASDAQ does well, this will try to do a good recovery. But again, as long as it doesn't, 200's not that far. You don't want to lose the 200 on the weekly, right? That's an echoed theme. Last one, again, another disappointing one. So TMC comes, drops not bad earnings. I'll be honest, I did not get into the details of it. All I really cared about was it getting over this 50 so I can get a little bit of safer trading between the 50 and the 200. It just never happened, right? It never even got over the 100, let alone the 50, right? So really sad. And again, this is where I say it's important to take emotion out of a stock. I like this stock. I talk to people about it. Whenever I say, you know, negative things, I generally echo it with, hey, I do like this stock, that one day it might do something. But right now, this is nothing more than a penny stock that's still a little unproven, right? So keep that in mind, and know as the NASDAQ struggles, this will too. And right now, it's staring at losing the 8 after a pretty bad rejection. It better bounce off the 8 and make another ride up. Otherwise, we're losing the 8, and I don't think this is too far away from all-time lows. right? Yeah, if we lose 833, this is going into the 70s, right? So be careful here. Again, take emotion out. Let the lines tell you what to do. Safe trading out there. Be careful.